reading has really changed my life. It's made my life so much better, whether it comes to dealing with my emotions, whether it comes to looking at myself and looking at the things that I need to do, whether it comes to learning about skills, learning about how to do things. You know, I can go on and on and on for, you know, the entire video, but today I want to bring you how I find books, because I think a big reason people don't stay reading, people don't continue to read, is because they don't find new things that interest them. And you know, it's really easy to go online and, you know, go on some YouTube video and find a book just simply from doing that. But it's another thing to keep the endless stream of books coming, to continually find things that pique your interest, because it's like anything, things get old. Like, I get very bored with philosophy and then I'll avoid it for a few months and then I get obsessed with it again. Same thing with a lot of self-help books. I don't think I'll ever pick up a self-help book again because I've read so many of them. And it's like, how do you keep yourself interested? How do you keep yourself stimulated? And the idea I want to talk about today is a very, very interesting one. I don't think I've heard anyone else talk about it, because I don't know if anyone else is as obsessed with these things as me, but this is my number one way to find books. So, you know, there's the easy methods of going online, looking up top books for this subject. You know, you can go on Amazon. Amazon has a pretty good ranking system. Usually Amazon has like every book that you could ever want, as long as it's in print, and it has it for cheaper than Barnes & Nobles. It has it cheaper than bookstores and, you know, other things like that. Sometimes you can go to thrift stores and find things that you like, find hidden gems. Those are all good methods, but my favorite one is, through the course of my readings, through the course of my studies, I will see names that continually repeat. So the thing that I'm reading right now is Existentialism is a Humanism by Jean-Paul Sartre. I think that's how you say that. But basically, I've just seen Sartre's name time and time again, and I was like, you know what? I see this name, why don't I pick this up? And that's really what I like to do. Like, if I like someone, if I like their style of writing, I look to who influenced them. Like, that's the exact reason that I read Faust, because I saw Freud cite Faust, I saw Emerson talk about Faust, I saw Jung talk about Faust, I saw Nietzsche, Schopenhauer. Like, all of these great minds were attributing Faust to their greatest discoveries. It's the same thing with Shakespeare. Like, some of my favorite authors will talk about Shakespeare, so I just started reading Shakespeare again. And it's like, I really, really, really love this way of finding people through people that I like. Like, it's almost like you're getting word of mouth through some of the smartest minds that you've ever studied. And to me, it's the most fun, because I can see exactly how Emerson came up with certain ideas. I can see exactly how Thoreau came up with certain ideas. I can see the progression of ideas that go through one author to the next, to the next, to the next, to the next. And I think, to me, this is the most interesting, because each writer has their own unique style. Each writer has their own unique way of saying things. And, you know, maybe when Schopenhauer talks about a certain idea, it doesn't make sense. But when I hear it in the context of a Buddhist talking about it, because Schopenhauer is oftentimes called a Buddhist, I'm like, oh, wait, he's just talking about it in this manner. I think that ability to say the same thing, say it said in a different example, said through a different analogy, said through a different way, is the greatest way you will learn things. Because, you know, when I say something in a certain way, it might not click. But if someone that speaks exactly like you, someone that writes in a style that you easily understand, it will just magically appear. It will just magically, you'll just be like, oh, that's what this means. And when I read Nietzsche, I have to think of it in Emerson context. This is how I really do it. This is how I really understand things, is through comparison. And I think this style of finding books is the most fun and interesting way that I've done it. And, you know, I just want you to be cognizant of people that come up through your studies. So, like, if you see Jung continually talk about Nietzsche and you love Jung, maybe you should pick up Nietzsche. That's just an example offhand, but like, if you really, really, really like a book and it references something else, you might as well pick it up, because I promise you, you're probably going to like it as well. At the very least, you will see where that idea comes from, and at the very least, that is interesting, that is fun. That's all I got for you guys today. Hopefully you found this interesting. Hopefully this is something that you try out, because this is something that, through the course of my studies, through the course of my reading, probably has given me the best suggestions. This is exactly how I found Schopenhauer, who is now one of my favorite philosophers. This is how I found Emerson, because I found people I liked continually talking about his ideas. I really loved his ideas from the brief synopsises that I was getting, and it just inspired me to pick it up. Same thing with Jung. You hear Jung coming up in a lot of speeches nowadays. A lot more people are talking about him, and it's nice to see the revival of his ideas. But when you actually read the original source, that's where you get the most inspiration from. That's where you get the most from, because it's like Wikipedia. You can read the Wikipedia page about someone that you are really inspired by, but it'll never quite do the same as when you're reading their actual words. And that's what I want you to do. Go to the primary sources. Go to the origins of the ideas. Go to Plato. Go to Socrates. Go to these people that have inspired the rest of Western thought, have inspired the rest of these philosophies. And I think you will find great fun, great interest through this idea. And please, please, please let me know if this is what you want to hear more of, because I can share more things like this. I can share more little things of how I study, of how I read, how I approach different subjects, how I like to apply them and compare them. But yeah, something new for today. Love you guys so much. Catch you in the next one. Peace out.